Well, for 7 years, they said they were going to do it. On Thursday, they voted to do it. Republicans in the House taking the first step towards repealing and replacing Obamacare as they passed their version of the American Health Care Act, even though we still don't quite know what's in it or how much it's going to cost. While the House may have rushed the measure through less than 24 hours after completing it, Ohio senators say there's a reason that they are the more deliberative body.
I do think the Senate's going to take its time and try to get this right, because we need to know what the impact is in terms of the cost and the coverage. There are some House colleagues of mine from Ohio who voted for the bill, but also are very concerned about this issue and are hoping, I think, that the Senate makes some changes in the bill to make it better for Ohio.
It's immoral for a bunch of congressmen with government-paid, taxpayer-subsidized insurance to take insurance away from literally millions of Americans while they're enjoying the insurance that taxpayers provide to them.
Well, someone who worked with President Trump as an advisor on health care has been Cleveland Clinic CEO Dr. Toby Cosgrove, who announced this week after 13 years at the helm, he'll be stepping aside. The newest of the buildings at the Cleveland Clinic may bear the names of benefactors, but they carry the fingerprints of Toby Cosgrove. When Cosgrove took over the helm of the clinic in 2004, its medical reputation was strong. Its campus, though, looked more like a community college. Cosgrove changed that.
Physical facilities in which you work make a difference in how you feel about your work and coming to work and how you perform. And I also think for the patients who come here, it makes a difference in the sort of environment they're in. I think it speaks about who you are. And so we worked hard at this.
As the campus expanded, the workforce did as well, with the clinic adding more than 20,000 employees in 14 years and is now ranked by U.S. News & World Report as the second best hospital in the country. For the 76-year-old Cosgrove, the decision to step down this year simply felt right.
The reason I'm doing it is because I thought it was time for the organization to make that change, and it was a good time to do it. That's as simple as that. I'm not sick, I'm not tired, I just thought it was a good time for the organization.
Cosgrove was asked by 2 presidents to take over the Department of Veterans Affairs and twice said no. How seriously did you consider those offers?
I considered them very seriously. I thought that it was important that I do something where I could make a difference. And at the end of the day, I didn't think that I was going to be able to accomplish the things that I thought needed to be done for the VA. And so that's when I decided not to do it.
And Cosgrove has also worked with Governor John Kasich in introducing the data analytics used at the clinic into state government. Well, Governor John Kasich spending the week out on the left coast promoting his new book. Before we left, we had a chance to sit down and talk about 2Pass and his path forward. Governor, what message do you hope to send with 2Pass?
Work together. Stop, open your mind and realize that the country's not going to do well if all we're doing is spending our time fighting. Nothing big can be fixed. It just doesn't work that way. And we need to respect one another even when we don't agree with them, and that'll build a stronger country.
When you look at the party that you were a part of back in the 90s, the Republican Party, does that exist today?
Well, the party is changing, and I don't think they know what they're for. I mean, this party, the people who are members of this party have never been anti-trade, never been anti-immigrant, have never been casual about debt. But sometimes people get swept away, and in a notion to be part of the club, people say, okay, I'll go along, but no, it's not going to last. And so I think both parties are lost. I mean, the Democrats don't know what they're for, and they get more energy by seeing Republicans fail than they do what they're for. And I've been saying all along, I think over time the parties aren't going to mean much. You got a young son here. He's going to be an independent. He isn't going to be a Republican or a Democrat. He's going to say the parties aren't doing. They're not looking at problems and solving it and getting along. People are disgusted by it.
You talk about independents here in Cuyahoga County. The nonpartisans are the major political party.
Yeah.
Are we approaching a time where an independent can make a legitimate run at the White House?
Oh, I have no doubt about that. Yes, I think extremely well-funded independent who's knowledgeable and successful, and teaming up with somebody who also is knowledgeable and chew gum and walk at the same time. Yeah, I think that an independent can be elected president. I mean, I remember when Ross Perot had really risen to a very high level, inexperienced, a little bit frazzled out there, and he couldn't do it. But you take somebody like a Mike Bloomberg, who's worth billions of dollars, and you let him run for something like that. Yeah, I think there's a real possibility. Now, I don't think he's running, but that's the kind of a person that could win. They speak sense, and they can override the political parties that are kind of appealing to their narrow their narrow bases. And I think that's what opens up the opportunity for an independent.
When I talked to you at the White House 2 days after the election, you expressed your hope for the new president.
This guy won this election, and we all have to pull for him.
Depending upon how he does, would you rule out an independent run?
Yeah, I don't see that I'm going to, I mean, look, I just want to get through the next 18 months as governor, but I'm not really planning or thinking. I am going to keep a political organization. I am going to try to keep my voice out there. I am going to try to help candidates, but I am never going to support a candidate who's a divider. I mean, somebody who becomes anti-immigration, anti-trade, and all this other stuff, I'm not helping them. I will not.
Does it surprise you when you see the poll like the ABC News one last week that had 96% of his supporters still support him from the standpoint
I think, look, he's not been there a long enough time. And secondly, it's like rooting for the Browns. I mean, the Browns could lose every single game for the next 50 years, and they're not going to lose their fan base. And I think he has a relatively narrow but strong fan base who he was speaking to last night. And politics has turned almost into like red and blue, or which team are you for? Which uniform can I wear? And that is not helping our country.
With Democracy 2017, I'm John Kasich. Enjoy your Sunday.